Okay. So we're streaming again, Chris. Sorry for the delay.
No
Thanks,
problem.
Scott.
Thanks for the caucus. We got our proposal polished up and sent over to you, and I'll share my screen now so that we can present our first proposal.
Great.
Okay, so as promised here, the housekeeping items we discussed at the top. Our first proposal is in Article 2, Association Rights. The proposed changes here are intended to comply with the United States Supreme Court's Janus decision, striking language that's now prohibited by law and attempting to insert language around how we believe this process to work.
Could we see, oh, that's going by too quick for us to see it. Go up to the first change. I mean, if we're supposed to be seeing it, I want to see it.
Also, could you make it wider?
Just a moment. I'm afraid, oh no, sorry. Yep. Let me sort through my issues here. I hear what you're saying. Just give me one moment. Is this better, or do I need to make it more narrow?
Sorry, I was muted. That's great. That is, yes.
Okay.
Very,
All right.
very readable.
I misspoke. I'm sorry. Article 2 is not the Janus proposal. That will be Article 3. So Article 2, I'm going to skim through to just focus on the items that we're proposing to change. So I believe that this provision right here is us accepting the proposal that you made in your initial proposal. The intention with the changes to H, we in practice are not looking to change anything. We're looking to update the contract language. There's a law, House Bill 2016, that was passed. It is now codified starting at ORS 243.796. The CBA uses the term release time. The new law uses two terms. It uses the term reasonable time, and then it uses release time. And release time is a different thing than what we're meaning it to mean here. The law uses the term reasonable time to mean what we do, which is if you're in bargaining, you get paid for the time that you're representing the district in bargaining. So if you take a look at the law starting at 243.796, I hope that these changes will make sense. And the language that I'm highlighting here is lifted directly out of the law. I don't want to know if I want to say directly. I want to say directly is applicable to the subs unit. And then just some clarity changes. It was a little broad before, just to say that we will provide the reasonable paid time while you are present in negotiations. So that's the intent with H. I don't think is controversial. I think that this might have been your proposed change that we're just bringing in. Article 3 is the Janus proposal. Sorry for the odd spacing. The intention is to eliminate fair share, make that language applicable to folks who have submitted authorization forms.
Can you, I'm sorry, you're going. I know we'll have time to read through this, but.
Yeah, it just says we're not going to deduct dues
Yeah.
anymore. And
Right. Sure, that's fine. I just wanted to see if there were any other, yeah.
Okay. Again, just deleting fair share language. You know, authorization, withdrawal. I think remittance is important. That's the act of submitting the payment to the association. this item, again, we believe is covered under the law. There's a provision that explains the items that the information, census information around bargaining unit members that we're required to provide. We think that it's covered. We're obligated by law to do it. We further agree to do it monthly instead of quarterly as we currently do. And, you know, we think that the term ASOP is outdated since it's not, we're not using ASOP anymore. I know that we've had discussions around this before where the association is interested in having the personal email addresses, and I'd point you to let me find the citation really quickly. I'm not going to go through it, but if we go to the provision in the law that we just mentioned, it requires us to provide the email addresses that we have on file, which I believe would include personal email addresses.
Okay. You do know the district disagreed with that position, and we were required to take it through the grievance process and we were filing for unfair. It's settled before unfair labor hearing, but it wasn't an easy thing to get that we would have their home email addresses. The district was saying we'll provide only the school contact. So I mean, I may have a counter on this just because I don't want it to appear at any point in history. Sometime I'll eventually be able to retire. I don't want it to look as though we're agreeing to just the school email address.
I understand. I'm aware of that dispute. Take a look at ORS 243.804.
Yep.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not doing a good job coming up with this.
That's okay. I
It's,
got
it's
you.
under
Yeah, I mean,
subsection 4.
It's the new requirements under the statute, and yeah, I'm
It
aware.
includes
Yeah.
any means of electronic communication, including work and personal email addresses.
Yep.
And I hear you, John. I think that dispute was a little more discreet around providing what are we giving from what source. And I mean, the law requires us to provide any personal email address that we have on file upon hire. And we're open to working it out. I don't see this being a major issue.
I understand. And yeah, that's what I was,
language.
yeah, right.
Article 10, sick leave. I'm going to skip this. What I'll convey to you, John, is what I did is I highlighted the entire MOU. I pushed copy. I highlighted all the existing language in the contract, and I pushed paste. So there's a lot of redlining here, but you're going to see I just basically pasted in the MOU. There may be some formatting issues. If you see any issues, let us know. The intent is just to bring
exactly what I was going to do. No dispute. It's
okay.
It's what I thought we would do.
Okay. The next proposal is our proposal for changes to the grievance procedure. The intent behind these changes is to make this grievance procedure more consistent with other bargaining units and with the regular teacher units grievance procedure. So those are the interests behind the changes that you're seeing. We have proposed to delete party and interest. It's a defined term, but then it's not used within the actual it's not used within the grievance procedure, so we don't know why it's necessary. Sure. This language that I'm highlighting right here is, well, I'm not highlighting it, I'm flagging it, I guess. This language is straight out of the regular educator bargaining unit. I changed some language to make a little bit more sense to me, but the intent is the same. If there are ongoing issues, the remedy applies to 30 days prior to when the issue is raised. I tried to catch the gender language here. I might have missed a couple. The changes here are again meant to reflect consistency with the regular educator bargaining unit, that a substitute educator can file a grievance and process a grievance up to a certain point. And then after that point, the association must be involved and advance it from there. So we're making it clear that level 1 procedures would apply. We're deleting this because with the changes that we're proposing, we don't think that this language is necessary. Within the actual steps, we're proposing changes from 7 days to 10 days for consistency with the regular contract so that they don't differ, which can cause confusion. We made the changes on both sides, intending them to apply equally. Instead of superintendent or superintendent's designee, we've changed to chief human resources officer or designee. Here's where we're trying to make it very clear that only the association may advance a grievance to level 2.
Right.
And then we're proposing to delete the provision that allows appeal to the school board. This is a unique provision in the subs contract, and we prefer to keep it consistent with other contracts that if the dispute continues to exist after step 2 and level 2, that we would have to go to arbitration. Again, only the association may advance to arbitration. This language, again, is lifted from the regular unit contract. I've got a placeholder here for our discrimination clause, which we're currently working to update. Basically, if we wouldn't look to the grievance procedure to resolve these sorts of complaints. We're looking for violations around contractual terms. There are other remedies and other mechanisms to address these sorts of issues that frankly are better suited for both the district and the employees, in our opinion. Okay, moving on. We're proposing changes to the MOU related to substitute systems and assignment of substitutes. When we've read and studied this as a team,
Excuse me, please.
of course,
Sorry.
It just appears that a lot of this language is not taking place in practice, and it looks like that it's referencing old systems that maybe are a system 2 or 2 ago. What we propose to change is, instead of including these specific items, that we sort of do a reset to right now with the system that we're using. And we've essentially stated that if there are intended changes that would impact, that may have impacts to a mandatory subject, we'll provide advance notice, and we'd be willing to bargain over those impacts, which is essentially stating the law. And I think we're in agreement that this MOU can go away. And that completes this proposal. Happy to discuss, take questions. My team, is there anything any of you all would like to add before we turn it over to John and his team for questions or comments? I'm not hearing any, so John, I just ask you if you have any clarifying questions or comments for now, or would you like to just take this and call it a day for today and discuss with your team, and we can circle back to it at our
I
next meeting?
think that will probably be best. So the idea, I mean, I'll have to take a look at it, really, to be honest with you. It's rather than, I understand the issue of the change, the MOU on job assignments and ASOP, or whatever it's being called now, Subfinder. I'll just have to look at the full content of that to see if there's anything I think we have a problem with deleting. But no, it seems pretty clear now. I did have a question about the other ideas, like the incentive programs and everything else. Are you thinking of sending those over prior to the next bargain, or would you rather hold on to those until we actually meet and you explain them?
We don't have those currently prepared right now. I didn't mean to signal that they are ready. Those are items we're still working up.
Okay.
For your, well, our goal is to bring forward substantive non-economic
Sure.
language changes and try to roll them all out. And then from there, we'll start shifting into, let me say, John, that I think that there are several items that we're going to be bringing forward that I'm not sure how suited they are to language changes. There's going to be some points that we just want to talk about and see if we can reach a consensus on,
Okay.
as we would do during regular contract admin or during discussions around potential changes that happen during a term. So there's going to be a bucket of substantive language issues that we're going to be bringing forward as proposals. There'll be this bucket of discussion items that we hope we can reach a consensus on and have some sort of a written understanding that may not necessarily require contract language. And then, we're going to have our economic proposals. And that's probably the order of operations that you're going to see us rolling our proposals out. And we intend to come with additional proposals at our next session. I can't promise which exact ones they will be. I do think we'll be in a better position to start talking, at least in the terms of the discussion that we're contemplating around some of the incentives or some of the programs for targeting fill rates or for other programs for increasing fill rates. I think we'll be at a good point to start having those discussions on a substantive basis at our next session.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. That's fine. And I didn't mean to, I completely get what you're coming from. I just wanted to make sure that if you were talking about something else, actual written versions of other elements prior to the next one, I wanted to be able at the end of this to set aside time as a bargaining team to prepare for that before the next session. But I understand where you're coming from, and however you roll this out is fine with us. It was more for sake of planning than for anything else.
Yeah, that's a fair question. I don't think we're going to have anything to you, say, days in advance of our next session.
That's fine.
It may be
great.
as we're rolling in, or once we get going, we'll push send again. But
Yep. Okay. Thank you. All right. I appreciate this. Obviously, if we have questions, we'll either send them to you on this proposal. We'll either send them to you or deal with them at the next session, and we look forward to it.
And so Monday, the 7th is the next one?
I believe that's correct. Does anyone else have their calendar handy? Is that correct? Are we Monday the 7th?
Monday, the 7th is the next one.
Monday the 7th is the next one, correct.
that's
All
what I
right, we'll
heard as
see you
well.
on the 7th.
All right, thank you all.
John,
Thank
shall
you
we
very
go
much.
back to our chat room?
Yes.
Okay.
Have a good day, everyone.